Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Peter here. Teddy's with me. He just fell down a hole that was filled with water. Got his little head wet. He's alright. So this year I'm going to Esxence in Milan. So I'll be flying to Italy in April. I've never been before, never been to any of the perfume fairs, so it'll be cool. And I want to talk a little bit about kind of niche and indie fragrances and about Esxence. So from what I can work out, Esxence basically is a way for brands to promote themselves to potential kind of business partners and to gain kind of distribution networks, and for independent stores that are looking to stock new upcoming brands, they can get deals, basically creating business connections to grow your brand. That's basically what Esxence and Pity are. It's not just for the public to smell fragrances. It's also for the press and for creating distribution networks and business deals and connecting with shop owners and things like that to grow your brand. Really, that's the core of what that's about. I'm in the kind of the unique perspective, really, of not only being a fragrance collector and a fragrance lover, where fragrance is my passion, but I'm also a fragrance reviewer and halfway in the process of being a brand owner. Not only a brand owner, but a perfumer. Literally, I'm covering all bases here. I'm a lover and a collector. I'm a reviewer and a critic, and I'm a brand owner and a perfumer. I'm like everything you can imagine rolled into one. So I'm going with a bit of a kind of a foot in each door, really, I suppose. It will be interesting to see how it works, and it would be cool to meet some of the perfumers. There's a couple of people that I'm looking forward to meeting that will be there, which is cool. So I'll get to meet some brand owners, some perfumers, and we'll get to smell some fragrances that I've never smelled before. What's interesting is, I'm a reviewer, and as a reviewer, I go out of my way to find brands and smell as many fragrances as I can. I smell thousands of fragrances. What's interesting is when I look at the brands that are going to be Esxence, I've never heard of 70% of them, which is quite astounding. And it made me think, or made me realize just how many perfume brands there are in the world. And really, it made me wonder, how do these brands actually survive? How are a lot of these businesses viable in the long run? Do they go anywhere? Do they end up bankrupt after a few years? Do they disappear? Do they just skate by on pennies and they've all got independent jobs other than that? It makes me wonder, as someone that, like I say, that goes out of their way to find brands and smell as much as I can, to have not heard of 70% of the brands there, it's like, well, who has heard of them? Do you know what I mean? If someone that goes out of their way to find new fragrances has never heard of you, who actually has heard of you? How are you selling enough for your business to survive? That's a little bit worrying to me. Just the level of saturation there, and all these brands. You wouldn't create a brand. You wouldn't put your hard-earned money and time into creating something if you didn't believe in it. Surely, you would think, at least. So all these brands are there independently, thinking that they're the shit and they're giving something new and different to people. And someone like me who's a collector or a fragrance enthusiast that way, as a consumer, I'm wondering. I have my own opinions on whether these brands are any good or not, whether or not they're interesting, whether or not what the appeal is there. And I might feel like 90% of the brands are not my thing, but the people that own it obviously are very passionate about it. So it goes into, I suppose, just personal taste. What one person likes is not the same as what another person likes. But my point is, it's just the difficulty when perfume becomes a business, because you have to sell a certain amount to survive, otherwise you're going to lose money and your business is not going to go forward. It's going to collapse, it's going to fail. So you have to do enough to survive, and it just makes me wonder if these brands are actually surviving. It's amazing, really, that they all manage to sell enough to keep afloat when there's so much competition. And how do you stand out when you're displaying? Because these brands that are Esxence, they have to pay a few $1,000s for their own little stand, and everyone's paying that thousands of dollars each, and they've all got to stand out from each other. How do you stand out in a room full of hundreds of other people? So you got your work cut out for you there. I screenshot a list of the brands on my phone. I don't know if I'll be able to see it in the daylight, but I'm just gonna go through a few of them. And Rouge Bunny Rouge is there. I've reviewed some of their stuff, I know who they are. RPL Perfumes, never heard of them. Semini, never heard of them. Steve Martin Perfume, never heard of them. The Harmonist, never heard of them. THOO, never heard of them. The Gate, never heard of them. Famine, never heard of them. Thomas Cosmela, never heard of it. Simone Andrioli, never heard of them. Saleco. Some of these brands are really hard to pronounce. That's another thing as well. Creating a brand name that people can remember, and that's all part of branding. And if you can't pronounce the goddamn name, you're not off to a great start. Omnia Profumi, that's a strange name, but never heard of them. Onirico, Optico, Olfatology, Olivier Paris. Almond Jane is there, that's one I actually know. Perfume Sucks, I know them. The guy there is a friend of Rasse Forts at Fort Manley. Ducita's going to be there, so I'll get to meet Passara. But the point is, there's just so many brands. Unbelievable just how many that I don't think... who's heard of all these? The thing I feel when I look at certain brands is that I don't think all... Because Esxence really caters to niche and indie perfumery, they don't do designers, it's artisan kind of perfumery here. So, and I look at some of these brands and I just think, is this created by someone that has a passion for perfumery, or just someone that wanted to create a business? And that's the vibe I get from a lot of people, to be honest. It's like, does the creator here actually collect fragrances? Are they passionate about it, or have they just created something because they think they could make money at it? That's kind of, I just get that underlining feeling sometimes, and it might be wrong, it might be judging too quickly, but that's the feeling I get sometimes. Especially when I see like subpar presentation. It's like, well, if you don't care how you present your brand, then what are you doing? Yeah, you know what I mean? If the bottle looks shit and the label's crap and not designed well, and if it's just not well thought out, then what does that say about the rest of the brand? You know what I mean? I'm someone that, I suppose my way of thinking is that the quality shows in the attention to detail. It's the little things that are important, and the little details that matter, and that show that you care, and that show that you're passionate, and it's not just a business. If you don't have those little details, it makes me wonder, I suppose, really is what it comes down to. How much of yourself you put in the brand, or are you just creating something that you think people will like, rather than something that is cool to you personally? I suppose that's my approach, though, is that, speaking personally here, my brand is something that I would buy myself. It's something that I would see where I go, oh, wow, I want to try that, I want to own it, and then I smell it, like, damn, this is good, I want to wear that. That's what I want to make. I want to make something that I would want myself, not something that I think somebody else would want, because I think doing that you fail most of the time, because you're second guessing other people, and you can't really do that. All you can do is know what you like. Look at your little wet head, eh? You went head first, didn't you? Yes. He literally went head first into this kind of grass that's behind me. You can't tell what's underneath it, and he stepped on it, and it just disappeared into a hole of just cold water. So his head just completely underwater. He pulled himself out straight away. I didn't have to drag him out. But you are very wet now, aren't you, boy? Yes, you are. You'll dry out in the sun. It's a little bit windy, but it is pretty warm. We've had like a three days of summer weather in a row, which in February in England is just unheard of. This is ridiculous. It's like summertime in February. It's quite bizarre, but I'm not going to complain. I've spoken to some brand owners, and I know for a fact that you can spend a lot of money as a brand owner where you're paying perfumers to make a fragrance for you, because most brands out there don't make their own perfume. They pay someone else to make it for them. This is all expense. Then they've got to pay for the bottle design and the box and everything else that goes into a business. And then they might struggle to sell 300 bottles in an entire year. 12-month period, they might struggle to sell 300 bottles, which is... it's hard. It's people that are, struggling to get by. I don't think the reality of indie and niche perfume is not luxury. It's struggle. It's just getting by and paying your bills. It's really, that's the reality for a lot of indie perfumers. Is that they struggle to get by. That they're only earning a basic income from it. It's not luxury. They're not driving around in Porsches. It's hard work. It's hard for people to find you and to care and to want to support your brand and to grow. That's a difficult process. I know, watching Nascimato's documentary Finding Blamage, that he sold 900 bottles within his first year of launching Nascimato. So less than 1,000 bottles in an entire year of the first year. He sells tons now, but in the first year it was 900 bottles, and that's providing beautiful packaging, and the bottles look gorgeous with the cool wooden tops and stuff. Quite unique at the time. No one had done that before. It made a statement, and the fragrances are genuinely good. They're stuff that people liked, and word of mouth went around that these were cool, and he's genuinely sold them on the back of them being good. And you compare that to someone like Jeremy, who's just, I think Jeremy sold more than that in one day. I might be wrong, but something like that, with no note list, no description, people haven't got a clue what it smells like. That's just pure influence power, which is incredible. I hope he appreciates what he has there, and doesn't take it for granted. So to be an influencer, so to speak, that way, where you can sell many thousands in a month, is incredibly lucky and incredibly fortunate. I'll probably do maybe a little bit of a vlog style video while I'm in Milan. I'm not going to probably film too much inside, because I've seen other people's videos inside and it can be quite noisy, and it just, I don't know, I don't want to be kind of raising voices trying to talk to people, and it's just, I probably won't be filming that much inside the event. I will talk about it kind of after the event. I'll probably take a camera in and take pictures and little snippets of video, and probably narrate over it afterwards, because then it'll have decent sound rather than just a noisy room with loads of people in it. But yeah, there's a lot of reviewers going this year. I won't name drop anybody because I don't know if they've announced it yet or not, but there is a number of reviewers going this year. It's not just me, so I will be with friends of mine, which is pretty cool. It'd be nice to meet people I've not met before, and it'd be cool. It'd be nice to have a little holiday in Italy. I've been before. I've been to Florence and Pisa before in the past, and it's beautiful. I love the Italian food, so yeah, it's going to be cool. Time to go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just some rambling thoughts really, and I'm looking forward to going to Milan, and hopefully you'll enjoy that footage that I do when I get home. It'll be an interesting experience. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again next time with another one. Bye everyone. Ted, say goodbye. Bye bye.